People last night talked to me about how the work has changed and how, I've made these changes, and it's so intuitive, so imperceptible in a way that I've never been a backward thinking person about this stuff. I always look to the next one. Let's see what else I can do. And one of my friends, who was a instructor, used to be the director of the school at Kent State, where my wife and I teach, said, he looked at the new work and he said, well, I think you pushed color as far as you can. So, and I realized, no, I can always go a little further. I can do something different, something can change, something needs to change so that I don't get bored and the viewer doesn't get bored. If I'm constantly changing, not thinking about change, not directly making things different just to be difficult, but rather saying what else I can do with it, turning a different way, taking a sidelong step, then it can be fresh to me. And I can look at things differently and make different works, bigger works, better works, just something that's a little out of my comfort zone. We all get in comfort zones, and I think for artists, I think it's death to just do the same thing over and over again. I mean, we all, to a degree, make the same painting. At least that's what another instructor of mine said. We make the same painting every time. And we take a little bit of the previous painting to the next one and, find some sort of trajectory through the career making work. How does this work begin? This is something Jerald hasn't seen, but he's seen similar books like this. This is the book I began last year. Every year when we go to New York, I go to New York Central and buy these pads because they're so wonderful. Spiral bound, good heavy grade paper, much like the ones I use here. But many of these studies, all of these studies were started in another book. This began, you can see sort of a germinal early study for these. Chris said he thought these were complete. I thought they were, well, what they are, studies. But many of them are, this is a series of things I did in Provincetown last year when it was too cold and rainy to get out, as it often is in the spring. But I began drawing out the window at different times of day. So the format is the same, but everything changes with color and with light. And that's what really the work is about. I'm looking at the same thing in many cases and with little side steps, one way to the other. Or going back later in the day or in the evening. Things can continue to change. So there are a number of different things in here. Many of them like this are just drawings I did either in the class I taught or just on my own, just to see what's in front of me, to not chronicle the world around me, but just to make some notes. This is what I see. This is how I feel. And I'm dealing so much with space that color and simplification have to be a crucial part of that. How do I take something that is three-dimensional and reduce it to important matters? And this is the way, at least it starts. I don't think they're done. I think it's just, the first step. And while I could work in photographs, and I use photographs to some degree, particularly the big ones for information, this is the way everything starts. It's like finding some, back and forth between the landscape and myself, and making mental notes and changes throughout the course of the work. So like this book, you see, series of things here. The drawings over here of this grove of sycamores and I think they're locust trees that become the basis of this big one over on this side. And what's going on here is, I'm trying, even the barn paintings, as well as these two on either side, I'm trying to see the landscape through a system. The trees that block the landscape in either one of these. The barn in the back, which, for those of you who are interested, I'm on a ladder as high up as that little window in the top far end of the barn. And in that one in particular, I'm taking boards out of the barn so that a little more of the landscape becomes apparent in both of those. So it's finding this medium between the landscape and some sort of superstructure, which is sort of incidental to the way that I'm trying to see color, see light, see space, simplifying things in the background, bringing more attention and color and texture to the ones in the foreground. And at least that's what I'm doing in this body of work. And the next one will probably take that idea and hopefully take it somewhere else.